Hi, my friends. Today I want to present you a new story. Enjoy watching it. It happened at 12:03 p.m., a Wednesday like any other. I was reviewing contracts in my office when my phone buzzed. One new message from Liliana. At first, I smiled. Maybe she was sending one of her usual funny memes, something to break the workday monotony. I unlocked the screen without thinking, but the words I saw made my blood turn to ice. Effective immediately, all communication must go through my attorney. I am filing for divorce. Do not contact me directly. I read it 3 times. The room tilted slightly, the edges of my vision blurring. I leaned back in my chair, my mind struggling to make sense of it. No fights, no warnings, just this. I didn't call her. I didn't text back. I sat there, staring at the message, my heart pounding so hard it hurt. Slowly, something inside me clicked into place. She wanted a legal battle? Fine, she'd get one. I stood, walked over to my computer, and pulled up the banking apps. In a matter of minutes, I froze the joint credit cards, canceled her monthly allowance transfer, and halted all automatic payments tied to her. The beauty subscriptions, gym memberships, everything. A clean financial severance. She had drawn the battle lines. I was just fortifying my side. At 1:15 p.m., I dialed the number of a divorce attorney I had once saved half-jokingly, back when a colleague advised, always be prepared. You never know. A calm female voice answered, Law Office of Marcia Keene. How can I help you? I cleared my throat. My name is Parker Langston. I just received notice that my wife is filing for divorce. I need representation. Immediately. Within hours, Marcia and I had a preliminary strategy. Full documentation. No direct communication with Liliana. Strict legal channels only. She commended me for cutting off financial access so swiftly. You'd be surprised, Marcia said dryly, how many people let guilt bleed them dry before the papers are even filed. I hummed up, a knot forming in my stomach. Guilt. There it was, already creeping in. I thought of Liliana's smile, her laughter echoing through our home, the plans we made for vacations we never took, the dreams we left half-built. But another voice inside me, sharper and colder, reminded me she chose this. The next evening, as I was pouring myself a drink, my phone rang, an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Mr. Langston, an unfamiliar man said curtly, This is Thomas Baird, representing Mrs. Liliana Langston. She informs me she no longer has access to her financial accounts. That's correct, I said flatly. She's concerned about being left without support. I leaned against the counter, staring at the framed photo of Liliana and me from happier times. I swallowed the rising lump in my throat. Your client demanded that all communication go through counsel, I said. I'm honoring her request. Support will be handled legally through proper filings. No exceptions. There was a pause, then a sigh. Very well, we'll be in touch. The line went dead. I set the phone down carefully, feeling a grim sense of finality settle over me. The first move had been made. The war had begun. The first real blow came 3 days later. I was halfway through an early morning meeting when my phone vibrated. A message from Marcia, my attorney. Emergency motion filed. Spousal support plus exclusive use of house. Hearing scheduled Friday. I closed my eyes for a moment, breathing through the flash of anger. Exclusive use of the house. Liliana hadn't even been living there. She packed a suitcase and disappeared right after sending the divorce message. Now she wanted back in. That night, over coffee at Marcia's office, she laid out the plan. We'll argue that she voluntarily left and initiated legal-only contact, triggering your financial cutoffs, Marcia said, tapping the papers briskly. Judges don't like games. We have screenshots, financial records. You're in a strong position. But she's not going to fight fair, is she? I muttered. Marcia smiled thinly. She's already not. Buckle up, Parker. The next 48 hours were a whirlwind. Liliana's friends suddenly began texting me, sweet, concerned messages. She's devastated, Parker. Just talk to her. Maybe this is all a big misunderstanding. I didn't reply. Then I got an alert. An attempted login into an old joint savings account we'd forgotten existed. Liliana, grasping at whatever she could find. I documented everything. Screenshots, timestamps, statements. Sent it all to Marcia. The day before the hearing, Liliana's father called. His voice, usually booming and warm, now trembled with feigned sorrow. "Parker, please, son. She's not thinking straight. Just give her some money to get by." I tightened my grip on the phone. "Mr. Vargas," I said carefully, "Liliana chose lawyers. That's how we'll handle it." A long silence. Then the line went dead. As I set the phone down, a bitter taste coated my mouth. They weren't just playing dirty. They were throwing everything at me. Guilt, manipulation, deception. But I wasn't going to crack. I had to remember, this wasn't the woman I fell in love with. Not anymore. The courtroom smelled faintly of old paper and coffee. I sat stiffly at the respondent's table, hands folded, while Liliana, draped in a pale gray dress, dabbed theatrically at her eyes with a tissue. Marcia leaned toward me, murmuring, "Watch, she's going for maximum pity." Judge Elkins, stern and sharp-eyed, called us to order. Liliana's lawyers sprang up first, painting a grim picture. A poor, abandoned wife with no money, nowhere to go, trapped by my vindictive financial cutoffs. Liliana sniffled loudly for effect. When it was our turn, Marcia rose, her voice calm, but cutting. "Your Honor, Ms. Vargas demanded all communication be through legal counsel. My client acted accordingly. Exhibit A, text messages confirming her request. Exhibit B, financial logs showing voluntary separation before support ceased." The judge flipped through the thick packet without a word. Liliana twisted in her seat, shooting me a fleeting glare. A flash of the real Liliana, entitled Furious. Under cross-examination, her lies cracked. "So," Marcia said smoothly, "you left the marital home voluntarily, yet now claim abandonment?" Liliana faltered. I didn't think he'd actually cut me off." "You demanded it, didn't you?" Marcia pressed. Liliana looked helplessly at her attorney, but the damage was done. By the time the hearing ended, Judge Elkins issued a ruling. Parker would maintain basic, court-monitored financial support, no more, and both parties were to prepare for asset division. Liliana's face crumpled as she realized the act hadn't worked. Outside, as Marcia and I stepped into the sunlight, she chuckled under her breath. "Round one till us, but it's only getting nastier from here." I stared ahead grimly. I knew she was right. By the fourth month, Liliana's tactics had slid from petty to downright reckless. First came the repossession of the leased Lexus she refused to return, an embarrassing scene in front of her new boyfriend's apartment, captured gleefully by a neighbor's phone. Then Marcia uncovered hidden brokerage accounts Liliana had sworn didn't exist. "She thinks she's smarter than the system," Marcia muttered, sliding the printouts across my desk. "But desperation makes people stupid." It escalated fast. One humid August night, I returned home after a long meeting to find flashing red and blue lights. Burglary. The would-be thief had broken a window, triggered the alarm, and been tackled by police minutes later. It wasn't just some random criminal. It was Liliana's new boyfriend. He confessed. Liliana had begged him to steal money from the house safe she thought I kept stocked. In front of the officers, he wept, offering up text message chains that made even the most jaded detective shake his head. I exhaled slowly, feeling both disbelief and grim satisfaction. "She burned every bridge she had," I said quietly. "Now she's drowning." Charges were filed, evidence stacked. Marcia filed a report with the divorce judge the next morning. "She just handed us the final nail," Marcia said with a rare, satisfied grin. "This is going to cost her big time." As I signed the police report, a strange calm settled over me. Liliana had become a ghost of herself, frantic, sloppy, and exposed. And for the first time, I realized she couldn't hurt me anymore. The final settlement came down like a gable strike, swift, heavy, and clean. Liliana was awarded minimal, short-term alimony. No house, no car, no secret stocks. She left the courtroom tight-lipped, avoiding my gaze. clutching a handbag that looked too expensive for her new future. Outside, Marcia clapped a hand on my shoulder. "You didn't just survive," she said. "You outlasted her." Life after Liliana was strangely quiet. I sold the house, Too Many Memories, and bought a smaller sunlit condo across town. I cut up the last joint credit card with deliberate, almost ceremonial care. Some nights, I still woke up expecting another attack, an angry voicemail, a desperate message. But none came, only silence, and slowly it started to feel like freedom. A year later, sitting in a small bookstore cafe, I caught someone's gaze across the room, a woman with a kind smile, reading a battered novel I loved. She looked up, met my eyes, and smiled again. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe it was everything. For the first time in what felt like forever, I smiled back, ready to turn the page. Friends, what do you think of this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Would you like more stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button so you don't miss any videos. See you tomorrow.